Praise the Lord, Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai. Gajanan Swami ki Jai. Welcome, dear devotees, to another edition of Guru Vahini, a program produced and sponsored by the Shri Parameshwari Durga Devi Ashram Incorporated. We are located at California Drive, Savannah Heights, Charleville, Chabonas, Trinidad, in the West Indies. This program is not a satsang type program. It is a program designed for you, devotees nationally and internationally, to interact with us. You can text us your message on WhatsApp on 1-868-743-5145. That number again, 1-868-743-5145. So you can send us your messages, your ideas, your suggestions. We will entertain all questions relevant to the topic of discussion on air. Before we go into the depths of tonight's discussion, let me first remind all devotees, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, share our video. Those of you who are viewing us on Facebook, please like and share our videos. Visit our website at www.shridurgamata.org. Interact with us. Let us know what ideas, what topics you may need to discuss, what ideas you may have. Interact with us so we can develop the program according to the relevant needs of the modern Hindu. For those of you who are locally who are joining us, we say thank you for taking the time to spend with us in these few moments of discussion. Devotees who are coming in from abroad, from the US, from Canada, from England, from India, from the Middle East, from Africa, from Australia, devotees from all over the world. We say welcome to our live feed and today's edition of Guru Vahini. So let us clasp our hands together, close our eyes, bow our heads. Let us offer prayer to Bhagwan Ganapati. He who is the giver of success, the remover of all forms of obstacles, and is always first and foremost among the host of the devatas. We seek the blessings of Devi Saraswati, through whose grace our intelligence are open and we are able to assimilate the knowledge that is inspired. We pray in humble submission to the lotus-like feet of our Guru, he who is the link between humanity and divinity, the ambassadors of God upon the face of the earth, he who opens the eyes blinded by the darkness of ignorance. Nityan dhyayanti yogina kamana moksharam chaiva omkaraya namo namaha. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samam Prabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaye Shu Sarvara Saraswati Mahabhage Vidya Kamala Virojini Vidyarupe Vishalakshe Vidyadehi Namostude Dhyanamoolam Gururmurti Pujamoolam Guru Param Mantramoolam Gururnavadya Mokshamoolam Guru Kripa Om Katyayani Cha Vidmahe Kanyakumari Cha Dhimahi Tanno Durge Prachodaya Prince Bhavani Shakti Durga Mata Ki Jai Gajananand Swami Ki Jai. So dear devotees, welcome again to today's edition of Guru Vahini. Today, this topic of interest, the topic that we have been asked to discuss with devotees, is that an introduction to Vedic astrology, Vedic Jyotish. And in this segment, or in this part of this discussion, we'll be looking specifically at the Navagrahas and how they influence us. Today's information is taken from the Parasar Pura Sastra. So just as you have the different Puranas highlighting the glories of the different deities, you have the Parasar Pura Sastra, which shares information about Vedic Jyotish, or you say Vedic astrology. Sanatana Dharma accredits the science of astrology to Maharishi Parasar Muni, one of the Saptarishis, one of the sons of Lord Brahma. This same Parasar Rishi is also the father of Vedas, the composer of our scriptures. Parasar Muni, he learned Vedic astrology from his father, Lord Brahma. Now the Saptarishis, they specialize in various topics. So among them, Parasar Muni became versed in both astronomy and astrology as well as cosmology. He was also a mathematician. Another mathematician was in the lineage of the Saptarishi was that of Gautam Rishi. On another occasion we will look at it. So Parasar Rishi is the one who is responsible for the science of Vedic astrology upon the face of the earth. Hence the name of his Sastra. He composed all of his writings is capsulated, and that Sastra is named after him. So it is called the Parasar Pura Sastra. Another Rishi who is also responsible for introducing the science of Vedic astrology on earth, just as competent a Parasar Muni is that of Bhrigu Rishi. So these are the two prominent figures in this school of Vedic astrology. Bhrigu Rishi, the father of Shukracharya, and Parasar Muni, the father of Vedas. So these are the two great saints who received knowledge directly from Lord Brahma, and they imparted it to us here upon the earth. And it is the same science we use on a day-to-day basis when we conduct our pujas, when we use our patra to determine auspicious and inauspicious timing of events. So today we will look at the Navagrahas and see how they influence us. Now according to Parasar Rishi, he makes a very clear distinction between astronomy and astrology. And what is the difference? Astronomy is the study of heavenly bodies, like the various planets, the various stars, the various galaxies, either close to our solar system or millions of light years away. Astronomy deals with the study of these celestial bodies. So an astronomer will identify different stars, different planetary systems, different galaxies, and through mathematical calculation, based on physics and maths, advanced maths. They're able to calculate things like the mass of a planet, the, the speed at which it is rotating on its axis. They are able to calculate various scientific factors of that planet, whether it's hostile or whether it's conducive to life or not. So astronomy deals with the study of the physical universe, the stars and the moons and the different planets and so on. Astrology goes further. Astrology does, it identifies planets, but astrology gives the scientists the ability to measure the degree of planetary influence on living beings. So astrology is a study of heavenly bodies and their influence on life upon earth. Now, it is only recently, in the course of human civilization, it is only recently, and that is in the 1500s and the 1600s and so on, scientists in those days were telling you that there are celestial bodies out there. It is only when Galileo introduced the telescope, invented the telescope, they were able to conduct studies of planets within our solar system. Within recent times, with the advancement of technology, you have Hubble Space Telescope, which can give you images and scientific data from planets in other galaxies within our universe. But our Vedic rishis, our Vedic scientists, for thousands of years, in the oldest puja vidhi, which can be found in the Rig Veda, tells us about the Nava Grahas. So what are these Nava Grahas? Nava means 9, Grahas means literally, it means planet. And we are going to distinguish between a planet and a Graha. So our Vedic rishis are telling us that within our solar system, there are 9 planets. And they go further. It took scientists after the 1800s and early 19th century, 20th century, to confirm that there are indeed 9 planets in our solar system. But our Vedic rishis for thousands of years, these are the great scientists of the Indus Valley civilization, which flourished along the banks of the Saraswati River. These scientists were telling us that they are Navagrahas. There are 9 planets. And our ancestors, our rishis, they gave names to these planets. Furthermore, our ancestors were the first, when everybody from caveman to those of the Abrahamic faith, to the Egyptians, the Incas, the Mayas, the Greeks, when they were thinking about a flat earth, the Vedic rishis of the Indus Valley civilization, our ancestors, they were telling us about a sphere, about a circular earth. And in the Stone Age imagery of the Varaha avatar of Lord Vishnu, you will see the Varaha avatar is holding up a circular, a spherical earth on his snout. This is what our Vedic, this was the caliber of our Vedic rishis. They tell us the earth is circular. They told us that there are 9 planets in the solar system. And they even go further. And this is something modern day scientists have not yet fully understood. They tell us that whether it's our biological being or our psychological well-being, our environment, everything on earth that is necessary to sustain life is influenced by these Navagrahas. Our Vedic rishis were telling us those things. This book here, the Parasar Hora Sastra, what is the meaning of Sastra? In Sanatana Dharma, our holy texts are classified as Shruti and Smriti, and then from Smritis you have a host of other texts. You have the Puranas, you have Mahabharata epics, you have the Upanishads, you have the Veda, you have the Brahmanas, you have the Agamas, a variety of texts. You see, Sanatana Dharma is so ancient. It is Sanatan, this eternal. It does not only encapsulate knowledge of this recent cycle of creation, it encapsulates all the knowledge that was discovered from the past. And what our Vedic rishis do, they will sit in meditation and tap into the Akashic record and bring the information, the knowledge that is relevant to our civilization. So, along the banks of the Indus River, while Europe, people were still living in caves, the Western world was not known of. While in Egypt and in Greece, there were still hunters and gatherers. Between 5 to 7,000 years along the banks of the Indus River, a intelligent civilization flourished, which had the most university and the only set of universities or institutions of tertiary education at that time. And it is not something that is recorded only in the Hindu sastras, but even in the Greek history and Greek culture. There are records on both sides, the Indus Valley civilization as well as the Greek civilization, where there were frequent transfer of information, trade, and knowledge. Greek students used to come to Indian universities to study under the learned gurus. So this is the caliber of your ancestors, this is the caliber of my ancestors. A sastra, therefore, is not just a book of ancient writing. It is a scientific journal. And who keeps a scientific journal? Only a scientist. Hence, today we are expounding the science of Vedic astrology from the writings of the scientist Maharishi Parasar Muni. So these Navagrahas, they influence, or the ninth planetary system, they influence everything that happens to us. From the minute we are born to the time we die, these Navagrahas influence our entire span of life upon us. And they can only influence us based on our karma. So when a soul takes a human body or any body upon the face of this earth and is born, with the first breath of air, the Navagrahas raise their hands and give their blessings and say, may you receive your karma phal. May you receive the blessings of the karma you came with. So the grahas doesn't cause good or bad things to happen to you. They give you the good and bad things you came with at the appropriate stage in your life. So if you are going through what we call in Trinidad a graha period, a bad time, it is because you reach that stage in your life where you have to compensate for something, some kind of bad karma. So certain remedial rites and rituals are prescribed. Certain types of sadhana is prescribed. certain type of seva is prescribed, certain type of devotion is prescribed. Similarly, when you are achieving greatness and success at a particular stage in your life, you are receiving the blessings of the Navagrahas for the good karma you came into the world with. At every single moment of your life, you are under the influence of a graha. Anytime you are not under the influence of the graha, is one of the two things. Either you became a Jivan Mukta or you are dead. Once you are lying in the body, the grahas dictate even down to the very second of your birth. And the grahas determine the very moment, last moment, when your life breath will leave this earth also. And the grahas only empowered to do that based on your karma that you came into the world with. So, who are these now grahas? And what are their names? And how can they influence us? So the head of all of the grahas is Surya Dev. Surya is the sun. So the day that is governed by the sun is Sunday. The direction that is governed by the sun is the eastern direction. The color is red. The metal which conducts the energy of the sun the best is gold. The gemstone that magnifies the energy of the sun the best is ruby. The numerology of the sun is 1. And the horoscope, or as we say, the Rasi, or in Trinidad we say the horoscope, or the planet. The Rasi is Singha Rasi, or Leo. So, this is the basic identification of the sun from a Vedic astrology point of view. The sun will govern the vitality and the energy of the body. He will govern the flow of the energy of the body. While the deity, Surya Dev, will have specific function for the eyes. Depending on where the sun is in your horoscope, he also adopts a secondary position. So the sun is the chief determinant of health, physical health, that is. So the head of all the grahas is the sun, and he is the first among the grahas. The devta that presides over the sun is Lord Vishnu, Surya Dev, Lord Vishnu. So now we come to the other planets. Now in Vedic astrology, remember, there is a classification, a difference between a planet and a graha. So in English, we loosely say the 9 planets, but the graha is a different from a planet. So after I introduce the Navagrahas, then I'll make the distinction between graha and planet. So in Vedic astrology, the sun is considered to be the first graha. The second graha is the moon, our moon, the moon that revolves around this earth. And we say that moon is Chandrama. The moon is governed by Bhagavan Shiva, hence he is called Somanath. There are other schools of thought which say that Devi Parvati also presides over the moon. So the Chandrama or Soma, he governs on a Monday or Somavar. That is where the name. So Ravivar is Sunday, the day presided over by Ravi, which is the sun. Monday is presided over by the moon or Soma, so it's called Somavar. That is why when you do Soma Vrat, You do it on a Monday, and you worship Someshwar or Somanath, Lord Shiva. The color of the moon is silver, or the energy that the metal that conducts the energy of the moon is silver. The color of the moon is also silver. The gemstone that magnifies the energy of the moon is genuine pearl, sea pearl. The direction, the astrological direction of the moon is the northwestern direction. The number is number 6. The Rasi is Karka Rasi or Cancer, the sign of Cancer. And the moon controls the fluids in the body. The moon controls the reproductive cycle of everybody. And the moon governs the mind, both the psychological mind and the psychiatrical mind. That is both your nervous system as well as your emotions. And depends on where the moon is placed and its strength. That is whether it's a waxing moon or a waning moon. Wherever he's placed in the horoscope, he also has influence on that aspect of your life. So we have the sun or Surya or Ravi, then we have the moon or Chandrama or Soma, and the third in the Vedic lineup is Bhauma. And Bhauma has a few names. So sometimes you see the word Bhauma, sometimes you hear the word Mangal, sometimes you hear the word Kuja. So you will hear Bhauma if you're referring to the sun of Bhumi Devi, that is the son of Mother Earth. You'll hear Mars being referred to as Bhauma. If you hear then the name Mangala is also given to him, and then he's also given the name Kuja. So very often in marriage compatibility, one of the things we look for is if there is a presence of Kuja dosha or Mangala dosha. So the planet Mars deals with the energy, deals with your vitality, your dominating personality. If Mars is well placed in your horoscope, this is a potential leader, a very brave, a very dynamic person, a very outgoing person, a person that gets things done, a very magnetic person. If Mars is not well placed in the horoscope, it can create problems in married life as well as problems with things like your temper, and can even cause things like accidents and so on. So Mars has a lot to do with your vitality and your drive to get things done, your ambition in life. Hence, the name Mangalavar is assigned to Tuesday, the day that is presided over by the planet Mangala or Mars. The color of this planet is bright red, as he is a very active and dynamic planet, transforms. So the color bright red is assigned to him. The number 9 is also assigned to him, full of energy, of Shakti. That is why he is also called Shakti Hastaya. In Mangal's Shatanava Stotram, we refer to as Shakti Hastaya, possessor of great power. The metal that conducts the energy of Mars the most is copper. The gemstone that magnifies the energy of Mars is red coral. The deity that presides over Mars, if you follow the North Indian tradition, like what our ancestors follow, is Bhagwan Hanuman. If you follow the South Indian tradition, it is Kumar Kartikeya. So the signs of Aries, And the sign of Scorpio is ruled by the fiery planet Mars. That is why Mars in the hierarchy, the sun is the king, the moon is considered to be the queen, and Mars is considered to be the commander-in-chief of the army. Mars is a military commander. That is why you find people with Scorpio horoscope, the temper is right there on the tip of their tongue. But they are some of the most genuine people that you could come across. When they stand up for you, you have a true friend there. But you cross them the wrong way, and you have an enemy for life. Same thing with Aries. Aries is a destroyer. That is why Kumar Kartikeya, the god of war, presides over the planet Mars. So then you have the planet Mercury. Next in the lineup is Mercury, or what we say Buddha. And this name is very significant. This Buddha is not Gautam Buddha, the avatar of Lord Vishnu. This Buddha is the son of Chandradev, the planet Mercury. And this planet Mercury deals with your intelligence. It deals with your nerves, the ability for the nerve in the body to transmit information. It deals with communication, the transfer of information. In the modern age, he is the most dominant, he has the most dominant influence on the earth. In this age of IT, information technology, any form of communication through electronic means is governed by Buddha. Higher order thinking is also given by Buddha. So those of you who are very skilled in communication, very skilled in the use of modern technology, very affluent in the way you speak, the way you write, those of you who are very good at mathematics and analytical type subjects, this is as a blessing of Buddha. Buddha means the intelligent one. So these people, they are more intellectually inclined. You give them a chance and they will live behind the walls of a university. Put them in society, they will be the innovators, inventors, and the creators of technology. The color of Buddha is green, just like nature, telling us that in order for the thought process to flow in a constructive manner, you must be calm and serene as nature itself. So the color of Buddha is green. The metal that conducts the energy of Buddha the best is silver, since he also has something to do with the mind. The gemstone that magnifies the influence of Buddha is emerald. The day is Wednesday. The direction is the north. And the number is 5. The deity that presides over Buddha, it can be either Lord Vishnu or Durga Mata. When the Buddha is energized and very active, Durga Mata presides over Buddha. And because of the similarity of the name Buddha as with Vishnu avatar, there's a tradition that Lord Vishnu also presides over Buddha. Then we come to the planet Jupiter, the biggest of the physically biggest planet in our solar system. And this planet has to do with justice. In Sanskrit, we say planet Jupiter is Guru or Brihaspati. Brihaspati is the Guru of the gods. And Jupiter, like Buddha, deals also with knowledge, but knowledge that leads to social transformation. Knowledge that deals with spiritual transformation and revelation. So someone who is versed in the scripture, someone who is versed in law and likes to keep law and order, an advisor, a counselor, a teacher, a lecturer, all of these are traits of the planet Brihaspati, Jupiter. It is the most beneficial among the 9 Grahas. Buddha presides over the horoscope or the Rasi of Sagittarius and Pisces. The color is yellow. The gemstone that magnifies the energy of Jupiter the most is topaz, or you can use yellow sapphire too. The metal that conducts the energy of of Brihaspati is gold. The day is Thursday. That is why Thursday is called Guruvar. Just as Wednesday is called Buddhavar in honor of Buddha, Thursday is called Guruvar in honor of Brihaspati. So Lord Vishnu is also worshipped on this day. The avatars of Lord Vishnu is also worshipped on this day. Some devotees also worship Lord Shiva Jagat Guru on this day also. The personal Guru is also worshipped on this day. Then you have the planet Shukra. Shukra is the planet Venus. And Shukra is the planet of luxury. Shukracharya is the guru of the demons. Even the demons have guru. So imagine some of us who go through our lives and we do not accept a guru. So in some cases, some of the demons are more cultured than some of us. So the guru of the demon is Shukracharya. And this Shukracharya, his father is Bhrigu Rishi, one of the rishis that I told you gave Vedic the science of Vedic astrology. So from Bhrigu Rishi, you have Shukracharya, who is the guru of was appointed by Lord Shiva as the guru of the asuras, the demons. Shukracharya is versed in all aspects of secular knowledge. According to our Dharma Sastras, to our Vedic Sastras, he is the giver of economics, the science of economics, and tells us of planning our budget and how we manage our household and so on, how we are supposed to manage the distribution of our wealth and our income and so on. So Guru Shukracharya, what he used to do is try to take the hyper energy of the asuras and teach them how to transfer that hype they have into constructive way of thinking and living. But just like some of us, when we're in a classroom, from the time the teacher turns his back, he starts to misbehave. Or sometimes in society, when a policeman is no longer around, we misbehave. So too, when Guru Shukracharya, when he's not administering to the demons, what does demons do? Some of them tend to misbehave. And so from time to time you have the unending war, the Dev Asura Sangram, the continuous battle between the forces of good and the forces of evil. So Guru Shukracharya, all the social sciences, he is the giver of those things, especially the science of management, the science of economics. This is how he managed to take the volatile asuras and make them great kings, teaching them how to manage their resources. So this Shukra, in English we say Venus, the planet Venus, the planet of luxury, the planet of plenty. Lakshmi Mata presides over this planet. and the color is white. The metal that conducts the energy of Venus the most is white gold. The gemstone that magnifies the energy of the planet Venus or Shukra is diamond. So right away you're seeing luxury, beauty, and the most expensive metal and the most expensive birthstone. The day is Friday. The number is 6. The direction is also the northwestern direction. The Rasi is Taurus and Libra. So those of you who, and we'll talk about how we go about determining horoscopes just now. So those of us who have our ascendant or our lagna as Taurus or as Libra, we are governed by Shukra or Venus. And then you have, so Friday is referred to as Shukra. And then you have Shanivar or Saturday, in which we look at the planet Saturn. And for some reason, there are a lot of people misguided. They fear Saturn a lot. So in a subsequent discussion, we look at whether Shani, whether he is good or bad. But in reality, I can tell you that Shani is neutral. He becomes good if your karmas are good. He becomes bad if your karmas are bad. In order to free yourself from this world and not to be reborn, you need to bless one of the deities, you need to bless of a Shani. So Shani helps us to account more for our bad karmas. He's the disciplinarian among us, he's a strict teacher. He's the one that controls the classroom to the letter of the law. He does not make compromises. The slightest mishap and he punishes, or he gives the influence of that, what you have, the transgression. He does not spare you. So that is why he is feared the most. So Shani represents the planet Saturn. And Shani is responsible for helping us account for getting rid of our bad karmas. You see, once we have karmas, we have to keep being reborn. So when good things are happening to us, we are using our good karmas. When bad things are happening to us, we are using or reaping the rewards of our bad karmas. Until such a time, we have no more karmas. Only then we are fit to be merged into the one. But once there is karma, you have to keep coming back on this earth again and again until you neutralize all your karmas. So Shani is one of the grahas that gives you the results of your bad karmas. He's a planet that is responsible for the late stage in your life. He's a planet that gives detachment. He's a spiritual planet that allows the yogis to sit in meditation for a long period of time. He's a planet of isolation. If Shani is well placed in your horoscope, you can achieve dazzling height where no one, despite your best efforts, will be able to pull you down. However, if Shani is badly placed in your horoscope, every tragedy possible will happen in your life. Shani is also responsible for broken limbs and amputated limbs. Shani gives the results of the bad karma for those of you who have stolen from religious institutions. So children or people who have some form of mental retardation or physical handicap is as a result of Shani's negative influence. And the karma that accounts for that is you have stolen something from God's temple. The day governed by Shani is Shanivar or Saturday. And Shani also, the color is black or dark blue. The number is 4 or 8. The direction is west the gemstone that conducts the energy of Shani the best, that magnifies the energy of Shani, is the blue sapphire. And the metal that conducts the energy of Shani the best is iron. So these are an introduction to the Grahas. So we have seen from Vedic times the skill of our Vedic astrologers. We have debunked the myth that our ancestors thought the earth was flat, and we have debunked the myth that tells us that the earth moves around the sun rotates around the earth, when in fact it is the earth and the planets rotates around the sun. So at this point in time, we'll take some questions. So having introduced to you the Grahas and the positions in the cosmos in terms of the rasis or the horoscope that preside over, next week's discussion will tell you how you get assigned based on your date of birth and your time of birth. And what we'll do now is take relevant questions from you concerning the Grahas and this introduction to Vedic astrology.
Okay, so our first question, you spoke about the influence of the Grahas on the individual's life. Is it possible to be influenced by more than one Graha at a time?
All the 9 Grahas will influence you by releasing their energies. Now, before I go into this question and answer segment, there are 2 planets that have purposely left out, or 2 Grahas. Let me correct myself. There are 2 Grahas that purposely left out, and those are Rahu and Ketu. And this is something unique in Vedic astrology. Next week, we will look at Rahu and Ketu in detail. I don't want to rush it now. Okay? But to give you the time to interact with us, I'm taking the questions and answers now. And next week, we will discuss Rahu, Ketu, and the entire Rasi Kundalini as it relates to your date of birth and your time of birth. Yes, so all 9 Grahas release their energies upon Earth at the same time. The degree of influence by which you are influenced varies. While the energies of the Grahas are there constantly, you will go through based on the position of the moon at the time of your birth. And next week, when we get into your birth chart, as we say, or your Rasi Kundalini, you will understand. Now, the reason why I'm doing this segment in Vedic astrologies is to let you know how important it is, one, proper timing of events. Secondly, you see this thing where you see popping up in TV and radio with all of these so-called astrologers coming from India and charging $4,000 and $5,000 to do a basic patra reading, to show the kind of stupidness these people that do and catch some of all these kind of people who have money to waste in that kind of stupidness. Alright? I'll show you also the kind of skill a pundit needs to do a patra reading. So it's not just going and wasting Baba time and say read this, read that. It is a lot of maths, a lot of science, a lot of calculation goes into it. Okay? And it should only be done only if something needs to be sorted out. It is not a game to play. So, based on where the moon is at the time of birth, you will have something called a dasa period, an antara dasa period, an antarapatra dasa period, a sukshma dasa period. According to Parasa Gura Sastra, dasa, antara dasa, antarapatra dasa, they will influence you the strongest. And there are major periods of influence, secondary periods of influence, and minor periods of influence. So, for example, all 9 Grahas influences upon Earth, but let us say you are going through Mangal Mahadasa. So the planet Mangal or Mars will have the strongest influence on you for that period of time. And if you are going through Jupiter or Brihaspati Antara Dasa, Jupiter will have a secondary influence on you at that point in time. So Mars will have the major one in this example that I'm using. Jupiter will have the secondary one and the Antapatra Dasa. Let us say you're going through Rahu Antapatra Dasa in the Dasa of Mars, in the Antardasa of Jupiter, and with the Antapatra Dasa of Rahu. So Rahu will have the minor influence on you. When we're doing further details like trying to determine the precise moment of birth or calculate the precise moment of death or something like that, then the Sukshma Dasa is also on coming. Okay? So Antardasa, Antapatra Dasa, Mahadasa, Antardasa, Antapatra Dasa. Major influence, secondary influence, minor influence. So you will, yes, the 9 grahas influence the earth constantly, but you are not directly influenced by all 9 at any one given point in time. You have the major, the secondary, and the minor energies there at some point in stage in your life.
You mentioned the different types of metals and gems as associated with each graha. Um, how does it influence the person? One, two, how should it be used by the individual? And is it that a particular stone is or gem is carded for a certain individual, or could we wear different gems at any point in time?
Alright, so you have to give me those questions back in parts. Sure. So let us take gems in Sanatana Dharma are very sacred things. They are not to be put on your body randomly, haphazardly. They can have both positive as well as negative influence. Gems have a gem captures the energy just like how a solar cell captures the energy of a sun and transmit that energy, converts that energy into useful energy to you. So too the gem, like a solar cell, captures the energy of that particular graha and channels it into your body through the nadis. That is the channels through which prana travels in the body. So the influence starts in the astral body. So if the grahas are negative, let us say you're using a gemstone and that graha happens to be negative, you're inducing negative energy within yourself. Similarly, if the graha is positive, you're inducing your system with positive energy. That is why the planet under which you're born, which we'll discuss next week, a Vedic astrology, before you decide to wear any gemstone, consult a qualified pundit who must be a qualified Vedic astrologer. Not these important things we have in the Indian exposed all over the place. Some of them are not even recognized as pundits and astrologers in India. They come here to make money, and you all get trapped in some of them things. Why? Because some of you think anything come from India better than what we have here locally. That is common sense. That is how some of you think, and you get yourself in trouble because of that. So your pundit must be a qualified Vedic astrologer before I can recommend a gemstone. And the gemstone has to be fixed in a certain metal in a certain way. And you have to start to there's a ritual that has to be done before you can get that energy to do what it has to do for you. So for example, let us say you're born under the influence of Gemini. When Gemini is on the ascendant, the planet Mercury will be your ruling planet. The gemstone that conducts the energy of Mercury is emerald. So emerald will draw the energy of planet Mercury, magnify it, and induce that energy within you. Emerald is traditionally set on silver. So the conducting energy, the gemstone mounted on a proper conductor allows the energy to enter into your system with least resistance. Or put it this way, using the correct metal allows the energy to be grounded in you in a safe way. That is why a Vedic astrologer, a qualified Vedic astrologer will not recommend a gemstone for a toddler or for a teenager, one whose body is transforming and growing and developing, but only for an adult. So gemstones in Sanatana Dharma plays a very, very important part, not only in Vedic astrology. There are certain devis and devatas. There are certain rituals you do. You offer them certain gemstones, and their blessings are magnified through those blessings, through those gemstones. Okay, those are more traditions of the tantric rituals. So certain time you'll do it. For example, if you're doing the Durga Paduka Puja, you'll see a lot of ruby, a lot of diamond is used of that Paduka. If you're doing the worship of Lakshmi Mata, there's a lot of emerald and a lot of diamond is also used there. So some stones are used in combination with others. So these are just examples. So gemstones conduct the energy of the deity as well as the graha and channels it to you. So you must know what you're doing when you're using those gemstones. Once it has contact with you or it's in a place where it influences your aura, you are going to receive the influence of it, whether it's good or bad. What's the other part of the question?
The another thing concerning these stones as well. Should it only be the genuine gemstones, or could the synthetic stones be used as well?
In the days when Parasar Rishi had created his Sastra, the only source of these stones was nature. Today, with the advance of science and technology, the synthetic stones or the lab created stones can be used also. However, the stones that are made manufactured from plastic cannot be used. Okay, so just as a stone is a kind of glassy material, like for example, if you take diamond, a substitute for diamond, genuine diamond is zirconian quartz, right? So you can use this substitute because it's depending on where you are in the world, the price of the genuine gemstones can be really, really exorbitant. And some of them, from a Vedic astrology point of view, they must be 5.5 flaws. Nature rarely produces a gemstone with few flaws. There are always some degree of impurity in the inside of the stone or in cutting of the stone. However, in the lab, the process is much more controlled. So once you have a good quality or high quality synthetic stone or a genuine gemstone from produced in nature, it can work. And we have seen it work.
Okay, so you spoke about astrology being a study of the heavenly bodies as it influences the individual. The positioning of these planets in the atmosphere, how does it affect, or does it affect the individual? And when we experience stuff such as sun clip or moon clip, does that as well affect the individual in any way?
Based on your Rasi, that is where your Janma Rasi, where the moon is at the time of your birth, an eclipse can be good, neutral, or bad. Okay, and we'll deal with that more when we discuss remedial astrology. All of the grahas, they are there in the cosmic form in the heaven. All right, so the planets are all here. But the Vedas declare that man is a microcosm of the macrocosm. That is, this human body is a micro representation of the cosmic man, of the Mahapurusha. That's Rahasta Shirisha Purusha, as spoken of in the Rig Veda Purusha Suktam. So everything that is within us is also out there. That is why the yogis, they don't use murtis and they don't use pictures and so on when they're meditating. They go within themselves because they know everything that is out external is internal. Okay? So just as the grahas are external, you have cosmic Saturn and you have the cosmic Jupiter and you have the cosmic Sun. So too, these grahas are in us, located in different parts of our astral body, in different nadis and near different chakras and so on. So what your graha puja, when you're suffering as a result of bad karma, which means in scientific term, that energy that is transmitted by, that is a Saturn in the cosmos, is not in harmony with the energy of Saturn in you. So what your Graha Puja do now is realign the Saturn in you to transmit the same frequency of energy the Saturn in the cosmos is transmitting. So when there's that harmony now, you no longer suffer what we call a graha or a bad period of time. That is what your graha puja does. So the grahas, they will have their out there in the cosmos, but they're within us. That is why when you're going through a bad period of time, we will give you mantras. We will make you do certain type of havan. We will make you do certain type of pujas. We will make you do certain type of vrat, perform certain type of seva. Why? All of these have the effect of fine-tuning the energy within you to match the energy that is on the external environment. So you don't suffer. It is like your TV. If you have your dish and your antenna in top of your TV, in top of your house, and you're not getting good reception, you will make adjustments. You will go and move TV station from where it is. You move, adjust the antenna on your TV. So to the Graha Puja works like that. It fine-tunes you, the individual, so it'll be in harmony with the Mahapurusha on the outside. So dear devotees, we have come to an end of this first, or this introduction topic to Vedic astrology, where we introduced the concept of the Navagrahas and we reveal their identity. We will continue to look at the last two remaining grahas, the Rahu and the Ketu next week, and we'll get down to the details of the importance of your date of birth and the time of birth and the place of birth as it relates to your Rasi Kundalini or your horoscope. And we'll see whether it's myth or science, whether your horoscope is something mythological or scientific. Principle Umapati Mahadeva Ki Jai. So before you go, let me remind you again, you can still continue to send us your information, but this is a topic we'll be discussing for a few weeks. Well, send us your questions to WhatsApp us at 1868 743 5145. Visit us on Facebook, like and share our videos. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like and share our videos. Visit us online at www.shridurgamata.org. It was indeed a pleasure joining you once again in this discussion on Guru Vahini. This program produced and sponsored by the Sri Parameshwari Durga Devi Ashram. We are located at California Drive, Savannah Heights, Charleville, in Chaguanas, Trinidad, West Indies. It is indeed a pleasure joining all devotees, local and international, for today's topic of discussion. So at this point in time, let us have our closing prayer. Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu, Mangalam Garudatwija, Mangalam Pundarikaksha, Mangalaya Tano Hari. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Bandhu Chasika Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Principal Shri Satya Sanatana Dharma Ki Jai.